Hello learners, so we've come to the last segment of lecture 47. So in this segment we will look at the last case that we will be discussing that were filed against Argentina, that is Continental Casualty Company versus Argentina, and also we will have some concluding remarks with regard to how plea of necessity should be invoked in the context of investment dispute. So with that we will conclude this particular lecture. So without any delay, let me go into the facts of, let me go into how the tribunal decided the issue of plea of necessity in Continental case. So in Continental case, we can see that the tribunal at the very beginning itself had stated that it will follow the approach that was laid down in CMS annulment award. Remember in the second segment we discussed CMS the award was reviewed by an ad hoc committee, an annulment committee, where Argentina had invoked Article 52 of the Exit Convention, and there were two grounds that Argentina had taken. So then the annulment committee had stated that this should have been the approach and all of that, right? So the Continental Tribunal followed that approach, saying that first it will examine the Argentines measure under the Lex Specialis, which is Article 11 of US Argentina BIT. Then it will examine the measures under Article 25 of the state articles on state responsibility. So this was approach that Continental Tribunal had taken. So Continental Tribunal, so essentially with regard to these questions, it had formulated for this issue, it had formulated four questions. One was whether the Argentines measure that Argentina had taken at the time of economic crisis, was it something that can be considered as protecting public order, or something that can be considered as protecting essential security interest. So that was the first question. Second question was whether Article 11 is it self-judging in nature, in the context that whether a party relying on Article 11 has an absolute discretion to invoke it, right? So that was the second question. The third question was whether the measures taken by Argentina were they necessary in order to protect the public order or to protect essential security interests. Fourthly, the question that the tribunal had formulated was, should the tribunal, how should the tribunal look at the lawfulness of Argentine measure under the BIT? So with regard to the four questions, the tribunal came up with its own decision and its own conclusion, because the parties were divided. So the first question was whether the measures taken by Argentina during the crisis, is it something amounting to protecting public order? We can see that the claimant had given a very narrower definition with regard to what amounts to public order and what amounts to essential state interest. So then here we can see that the tribunal compared the Spanish version of the BIT, and then it stated that the word public order is used as a synonym for a Spanish word that means public peace. So therefore it stated that the public order has a broad definition, and it rejected the narrower definition given by the claimant. And with regard to the term essential security interest also, the tribunal held that post Second World War, the essential interest, security interest is not only limited to military or political interest, but also includes economic interest. And the tribunal state that it sort of comes at this decision by looking at the preamble of Charter of the United Nations, as well as that of the International Monetary Fund as well. So the tribunal stated that economic interest is also something that can be encapsulated under essential security interest as well. So it had given a broad definition with regard to what amounts to public order and what amounts to essential security interest as well. So now this is how the tribunal looked at the definition of these terms. Then with regard to the application of how Article 11 had used these particular words, then the tribunal looked at the fact where did Article 11 of US Argentina BIT come from. Then the tribunal noted that this Article 11 came from the practice of US signing FCN treaties with a particular provision, right, this particular provision. So then the tribunal traced the origin of Article 11 of US Argentina BIT and stated that to interpret Article 11, it will consider these historical contexts, and then it looked at why these provisions featured in the US model BIT and then US FCN treaty. So it made its way to US model BIT from US FCN treaties. And then it looked at one of the commentaries that was written by Professor Kenneth van der Velde. It was called as United States Investment Treaties Practice, right. So it looked at that literature, and then it stated that where Professor van der Velde had written, he was an officer who was responsible for BIT negotiation from 1982 to 1988. So he had written in his work that the BIT, why this provision was there. So his opinion was that post Second World War, US wanted to give a leeway for enacting certain measures that may violate BIT obligations, and therefore it had started having the practice of including this particular provision, and that including this provision comes at the cost of recognizing a similar right on the other contracting party as well, because BIT is reciprocal in nature. So that is what Professor van der Velde had provided in his work. And then the Continental Tribunal looked at it and stated that when US wanted to enact certain unilateral measures and economic sanctions pursuant to its national interest, then in the context of a developing country like Argentina, the measures it had taken at the time of severe economic crisis is very well encompassed under the concept of public order or protecting its essential security interests. And then the tribunal also stated that it will give certain margin of appreciation to Argentina while looking at the measures that it had taken, because Continental Tribunal stated that a time of grave crisis is not a time for nice judgments. So I found this to be interesting. That is why I am quoting this particular phrase verbatim from the Continental Award. The Continental Tribunal stated that a time for grave crisis is not a time for nice judgments. Then the tribunal stated that, and also the tribunal has an advantage of looking at the issue at hindsight as well, right. So this is how the tribunal first stated that Argentina's measure to combat the economic crisis, something that can be covered within the concept of public order and the essential security interest as well. So this is how it concluded this particular point. Then if we look at, so one is, it stated that with regard to the first question, this was a decision, right. Then if we look at the second question, whether Article 11 is it self-judge, does it have a self-judging nature? Then again, here also the tribunal stated that Article 11 comes from US FCN treaty, and one of the US FCN treaty was interpreted in Nicaragua case between US and Nicaragua. I just mentioned about it in the earlier video, right. So in US Nicaragua case, the ICJ brought in the distinction between the FCN provision as well as Article 21 of GATT, and it stated that Article 21 of GATT uses a phrase where it considers necessary, and that self-judging clause was not present in the FCN treaty. So it may, and there was one other case, oil platform case also. It is interesting, US in the first case, in Nicaragua case, had argued that the FCN provision was actually self-judging in nature, right. But in the second case, in oil platform case, US argued on the lines of that a discretion should be conferred on US and all of that. So in both the cases, already ICJ has decided that this is not a self-judging provision. So the tribunal, Continental Tribunal also stated that unless and until the language sort of, has a self-judging nature in the language itself, then it cannot consider. For this, the tribunal also looked at this particular point. Why did Russia, US, BIT have a self-judging language in the treaty itself? I mean, that was explicitly mentioned in the treaty itself because Russia had insisted for it. Once Russia insisted for it, and then that got reflected in US-Russia BIT. So, the subsequent treaties that US signed, it started including the clarifactory language that it is self-judging in nature, and that eventually made its way into the US model BIT as well. So, this was looked at by Continental Tribunal, and the Continental Tribunal also stated that the earlier tribunals, all the earlier tribunals have, including Sempra Tribunal also had come with the decision that this is something not self-judging in nature. But the Continental Tribunal looked at LG&E, CMS and Enron and stated that all these tribunals also arrived at the same conclusion. So, Continental Tribunal also arrived at the conclusion that it is not self-judging in nature. So, that was the answer for the second question that the tribunal had asked. Then with regard to the third question, whether these measures are necessary in order to protect the public order or to protect the essential security interest, for that claimant invoked Article 25 of Articles on State Responsibility and stated that the elements under that has to be looked at for interpreting necessity or whether these measures are necessary. So, here Continental Tribunal questioned it, why should it look at Article 25? In fact, Article 11 came from the FCN treaties. FCN treaty provision was contemporaneous with that of GATT, and therefore, the Continental Tribunal stated that it will look at necessity in the context of Article 20 of GATT. If you remember, Article 20 of GATT talks about general exceptions, right? So, there is this necessity test that is undertaken by the panel or the appellate body in the context of GATT. And what is the difference between looking at necessity from the context of GATT and from the context of Articles on State Responsibility? We will see that this is a very stringent requirement. Earlier lecture, we had looked at the fact that Article 25 is drafted in a negative way and it had many stringent requirements and all of that. But in terms of GATT, what a panel or appellate body looks at is whether a reasonably alternative measure was available compared to the trade measure that was taken by the country, right? So, therefore, here Continental Tribunal stated that since Article 11 of US-Argentina BIT comes from US FCN treaty, which is contemporaneous to GATT, I think it stated that it will only look at the necessity under the concept under GATT itself, and then it will only look at whether reasonably alternative measure was available to Argentina while enacting that particular measure to combat, while enacting measures to combat economic crisis. Then on the facts of the case, the tribunal concluded that Argentina, the government had taken to balance the interest of its public citizens and that of the investor, and it had taken a reasonable measure as well. So, this was a conclusion with regard to the third question. With regard to the fourth question, one of the contention of the claimant was also whether Argentina had contributed to the situation of necessity. Then here the tribunal stated that a country is always responsible for the economic policy it takes and the consequences of that particular economic policy, but Argentina's policy was there for a long period of time, and this policy was something that is supported by IMF. It also got the political support of US as well. So, therefore, the tribunal stated that it will not rule or it will not decide that Argentina had contributed to the state of necessity as well. So, this is how Continental Tribunal had allowed Argentina to invoke Article 11 successfully. And so, this decision is also very significant because we can see on the similar facts of the case how the different tribunals have taken a different approach. But I tend to agree with the Continental Tribunal's approach because it looked at the historical context of Article 11, right? So, and that seems to be a better aid for interpretation. And then it looked at it sort of took the appropriate test from relevant treaties like GATT, and it looked at FC and why it was sort of why Article 11 had to be interpreted in the context of FCN treaties. So since the Professor Van der Waals, Kenneth Van der Waals literature was relied on, we could see that the claimant actually got Professor Kenneth Van der Velde to act as an expert opinion on behalf of claimant as well. And we do see Argentina bringing in Dean Anne Maria Slaughter also to give expert opinion. So all of these were taken into consideration by the Continental Tribunal. So we can conclude this particular lecture with the fact that there is a possibility of invoking plea of necessity. I mean, it is better if the countries negotiate an NPM clause in the treaty itself,